All right, welcome back. So we rejoin Scheherazade as she continues her story for King Shahryar. And where she left off, well, it was a real cliffhanger. Now we pick up her tale at the dawn of a very puzzling morning, the morning that begins night 22.
Okay, so let's get right into it. If you remember, a magical Ifrit basically crashed a wedding, swapped the handsome groom, Hassan Badr al-Din, with this hunchback stable boy, and just left total chaos behind. Now the sun's coming up, and the poor vizier, he's the one who has to figure out what in the world just happened.
So where does the vizier even start? Well, his investigation, if you can call it that, kicks off with a scream. He follows the noise to the latrine, and what he finds is, well, it's the hunchbacked groom, basically headfirst in the toilet, absolutely terrified and not making a lick of sense. Now, the vizier is, let's just say he's not in a good mood. He's furious, he's confused, and frankly, he's had enough. He whips out his sword and basically threatens the guy, demanding to know what's going on. Patience has completely left the building. But here's the thing, the hunchback isn't even talking to the vizier. He is so paralyzed with fear, he thinks he's still talking to that terrifying Ifrit, the one who took the shape of a giant water buffalo and trapped him there. So the hunchback just spills this insane story. He's talking about a creature that rose up out of the water in the latrine, and it just kept changing shape, first a mouse, then a tat, then a dog, a donkey, and finally this huge terrifying water buffalo. And this Ifrit, this demon, accused him of marrying its beloved. It trapped him there, warned him not to move a muscle till sunrise. So yeah, his story, it's one of pure absolute horror. He's cursing the bride, cursing whoever set up the marriage. It was the worst night of his life. Okay, so that's one side of the story. Now let's switch gears and head over to the bride's room. The vizier, more confused than ever, goes to talk to his daughter, Sit al-Huzn. And you gotta think, he's expecting the worst, right? He's probably bracing himself to find her just completely devastated.
But that is not what he finds. Instead of finding a weeping bride, he finds his daughter glowing, absolutely radiant with joy. She tells him she's never had a better night in her entire life, and when he mentions the hunchback, she just laughs. She calls him some hired hand, a joke, somebody they paid 10 dinars just to ward off the evil eye.
And right here, this is the absolute core of the whole mystery. How is it possible? How can two people have such wildly different experiences of the exact same wedding night? You've got the hunchback story of a demonic water buffalo, and then you have the bride's story of, well, a perfect night with her new husband. She insists, no, my real husband is that handsome man, the one with the joined eyebrows who was throwing gold everywhere. She says he just stepped out to go to the latrine. And then she delivers the biggest shock of all. She tells her father she's already pregnant. And it's his child. So this is where things get really interesting, because now we move from these two crazy stories to actual physical evidence. The vizier, completely lost at this point, goes into the bedchamber himself, just looking for anything that could explain this mess. And you know what? He finds some clues. He finds 3 things left behind by this handsome, mysterious groom. And with each item, he gets one step closer to a truth that is, honestly, it's almost too incredible to believe. So first up, he sees the turban. It's just sitting on a chair. And right away, he recognizes the style. It's a Mausoleve-style turban. Now, why does that matter? Because that's the kind of turban worn by viziers, by men of his own high status. Definitely not something a stable boy would wear. Okay, clue number 2. He finds the groom's trousers under the bed, and inside there's a purse, and it's heavy, stuffed with 1,000 gold dinars. But what's even more important is a little rolled-up piece of paper inside. He unrolls it, and the name he reads just hits him like a bolt of lightning. It says, Hassan Badr al-Din, son of Nur al-Din of Egypt, his own nephew, the son of his long-lost brother. I mean, can you imagine? The shock is just, it's too much for him. He cries out and literally faints. That one name on a piece of paper suddenly connects this insane magical night to a deep family tragedy, a wound that's been open for years. When he finally comes to, his daughter points out the last clue. She'd found a little pouch sewn into the cap of the turban, a talisman. But this isn't just some charm to bring good luck. Oh, no, this is something much, much more important. So he carefully opens up this little talisman, and inside there's another document. And this document,
This is what turns the whole bizarre mystery into a truly incredible story about fate, and it's written in his own brother's handwriting. The paper lays out his brother's family history. The vizier reads it, and then he compares it to his own life, and he discovers something that just seems impossible. It's a miracle. It turns out he and his brother got married on the exact same day, years ago, in 2 different cities. And even crazier, his daughter, Sit al-Husn, and his nephew, Hassan Badr al-Din, were born on the exact same day too.
So here it is, the big reveal. The handsome man who spent the night with his daughter, he wasn't some stranger. He wasn't a demon or a magical illusion. He was the man she was always meant to be with. He was her cousin and his own nephew, Hassan Badr al-Din. Fate, and maybe a little magic, brought them together.
Just completely blown away by all this, the vizier grabs the evidence, the 2 documents, and he rushes straight to the sultan, and he tells him everything, the whole unbelievable story, from the argument with his brother years ago all the way to this fated wedding night. And the sultan? He's just as amazed as anyone would be. He orders that this incredible story of fate and magic be written down in the royal chronicles for everyone to remember. So, okay, the mystery of the weird wedding night, that's solved. But a brand new one has just started. Because Hassan Badr al-Din, he's gone. Vanished just as mysteriously as he showed up. But now the vizier is filled with this new purpose, this powerful drive. And right there, in front of the sultan, he makes a solemn promise. He swears that he's going to do something nobody has ever done before. He is not going to rest until he finds his nephew. And that, of course, is right where Scheherazade stops her tale, as the sun starts to peek over the horizon. So where in the world did Hassan Badr al-Din go? And how could his uncle possibly find him? Well, that question is just left hanging in the air, a brand new mystery for another night.